Well, as the weekend is coming to an end, we're going to be doing something great today. The entirety of this episode is all about the Japanese wrestling scene. We're going to be doing 4 reviews. The first one is from Ganbare Pro, or their latest show, the Under the Silver Lake. This one only features a bunch of good 6 matches, but 2 of them are title matches. The Spirit of Ganbare tag team titles are on the line, and so is the top title, the Spirit of Ganbare Openweight Championship as well. And then we move on with, of course, with Pro Wrestling Noah with day 1 of their annual tournament, the N-1 Victory. And of course, we jump into All Japan Pro Wrestling with Summer Action Series. We're in day 4. This one features a death match that involves explosion. Inagi, along with her friends, take on Onita Zushi. We have a #1 contenders for the junior heavyweight title, and of course, our main event is the Triple Crown Championship. Then we finally cap it up with more of New Japan Pro Wrestling with the G1. We are going to focus only on the B blocks, and of course, we have some news updates to tell what's been going on in the world of pro wrestling. So, let's get ready for another episode of the Deleted Wrestle Zone.
Are you ready? Get up, get up! 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 Get up, get up!
Welcome everybody to the Deleted Wrestle Zone, all things that is pro wrestling with AEW, NXT, New Japan Pro Wrestling, Impact Wrestling, the National Wrestling Alliance, various promotions, wrestlers, matches, and championships. I am your host, J. Rod here. So, if you are new to the channel, welcome. So if you like this channel, please subscribe to us. And if you like this episode, give us a like and leave us a comment down below. So let's get started with our very first review. This is from Ganbare Pro Wrestling with their latest show, Under the Silver Lake. Now, we only have 6 particular matches involved in this one. Our first one features Munetatsu Nakamura taking on Kisuke Ishii. Now, Nakamura is a good wrestler, but however, he is still a young boy learning on the curve with a much experienced wrestler, Ishii. But Ishii was able to apply the neck and neck and arm lock in order for him to submit. So that was a pretty good win right there. Next one, we have the Joshi wrestlers taking the match. We have a Ganjo versus GTO. Now, those who don't know what that means, we have the Ganbare Joshi wrestlers taking on the wrestlers from Just Tap Out, which is Taka Michinoku's promotion. Representing Ganjo, we have Riara and Yoshiko Hasegawa taking on Hasoka and Misa Kagura. Pretty much it was a pretty good match. Now, we have been seeing a lot of the GTO girls coming to Ganbare Pro on various occasions. But however, this match kind of had a feeling that it was going to go straight to the GTO girls due to the fact that I know Misa Kagura, who has more experience than the other girls recently. The X factor of this type of match, Riara, who is barely new in this promotion, is getting the hang of it. Yoshika, who's been on a hiatus for over a year, but she came back last year. But it does fit perfectly. But it was Kigura with a lariat onto Iriara to pick up the win. Next up, we have Somatoko Shota and Shumichiro Tominaga taking on Tyson Meiguchi, Mizuki Watase, and Yumehiro Inamari. Pretty good, interesting trios match. Wasn't too sure how this one was going to go, but it was, of course, the JK by Tominaga to Watase to pick up the win. But yes, that's how it picked up the good win. Next up, we have a bit of the feud between these two guys. Originally, they became tag partners until one of the betrayed is Koji Doi versus Ken Oka. Now, Ken Oka trusted Koji Doi ever since he first appeared in Ganbare, but out of the blue, he turned his back on him. Kanoka hasn't forgotten. He is still traumatized over the betrayal, but he was unsuccessful to beat him on many occasions. But this time he thought that maybe a singles competition could put him away, but however, that wasn't the case. Koji Doi applied a lariat in order to pick up the win. Now, our next match is the semi-main event. This is one of two championship matches. This is for the Spirit of Ganbare tag team titles. We have the challengers, Arukaze and Hartley Jackson, versus the champions, Takuya Wada and Shuichiro Katsumura. Now, the reason this is a pretty good match for me is because for the past couple of months, Hasekura and Hartley Jackson became really a good tag team. Jackson, on the other hand, was the monster in the roster, but he took a liking to Arukaze despite of her size. He saw something in her that made him feel like there was something potential about her. He saw that no matter how small she is, no matter how much she can take from any blow from anybody, nothing could break her spirit, and that's what he drawn to her. So Arukaze and Harley Jackson thought, let's be a tag team and let's try to make a noise for the tag team division. And of course, Jackson agreed. So now we have to see how they put themselves to the test. Despite they have won many successful tag matches, but the obvious question does tell, can they pull off the big one? I have to say they did an amazing job, but however, the experience between, of course, Wada and Katsumata was one of the most significant parts. It was, of course, Katsumata with the 3-3 lock onto Arukaze to pick up the win. During the post-match comments, Arukaze felt disappointed that she lost, but Harley Jackson refuses to give up alongside Arukaze. He believes in her that they can pull off, they can actually win the tag titles. So only time will tell until those two. Now, so far, the tag champions Wada and Katsumata hasn't had any new challengers, but we could expect that any given time. Now, our main event, this is the Spirit of Ganbare World Openweight Championship. Now, this match particularly happened in a much recent event in Ganbare Pro. As you know, Yuri, who is one of the Joshi girls in Ganbare for both Ganjo and Ganpro, issued a challenge against Isami. Now, Isami recently won this title back in Wrestle Sekigahara, defeating Mizuki Wadaze. However, Yuri was the one who issued a challenge. Her determined to become double champion. And she has strong desires to bring this belt back to Ganbare Pro where it belongs. Now, Kodaka is not originally from Ganpro, but that's the reason. But I have to say, Yuri put up a hell of a fight. No matter how much of experience Kodaka has on her, she refused to give up. But however, it was not enough until he applied the 1244 and ended right there for her to pick up the win in a very disappointing loss. But in post-match, of course, the entirety of the roster of Gang Pro showed up, except for Kanoka, who is still suffering from the loss of, losing to, to Koji Doi. So that kind of sets it all. But nonetheless, it was a good show. I have to say, the ones who lost their title matches, they have good spirits. But it's only a matter of time until they pick up the good wins. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if if Gangjo decides to start their own title reign in that show. But it's only a matter of time for me to see Arukaze and Jackson to pick up their first title win together as tag partners. So we'll see what happens down the line in the future. So right now, I think that's it for Ganbare Pro. So let's move on with Noah. Okay, Pro Wrestling Noah, this is day one of the N-1 Victory 2023. Now, for those who are new to this channel, and those who are well aware of Pro Wrestling Noah's existence, if you guys know what the N-1 Victory is, good for you. Give yourselves a round of applause because you guys are fans of the Japanese wrestling scene, most specifically with Noah. Now, for those who are new, or those who don't follow Noah, let me explain to you what the N-1 Victory is. The N-1 victory is a similar tournament as, of course, with the G1 that's currently almost wrapping up. Now, it's also a point-based system. Basically, you win, you get 2 points. You lose, you get 0 points. But if you exceeded the time limit draw, each of you get 1 point. So that is how the rules work. The winner gets an opportunity to take on the current GHC heavyweight champion, and that is Jake Lee. Now, Jake Lee has been the top champion ever since he defeated Kato Kiyomiya. So the obvious question does now tell, who will walk out? Now, we're going to focus, unlike the New Japan, they only have 4 blocks, A, B, C, and D. In this particular tournament, there's only 2 blocks, A and B. So they're going to go with A and B, that sort of thing. So we're going to focus like that. Now, there were other matches they did post out, but we're not going to focus on that. So let's focus on the matches in this one. Now, starting out with the B block, we have Manabu Soya taking on his former teammate back in their Congo days, Katsuhiko Nakajima. Now, these two guys are no strangers to each other. As I said before, they used to be members of the faction known as Congo, led by Keno. I have to say, many people were possibly speculating that Nakajima was going to win this one because last year and the year before, he won 2 back-to-back N-1 victories tournaments. But, however, this case, it wasn't that. Manabu Soya surprised everybody by him doing a diving DDT to Nakajima, giving him the win. So he gets 2 points. Now, we're still early. The ones who win their matches are going to get 2 points. Now we jump into A block. We have Yoshihiko Inamari taking on Jack Morris. Now, Jack Morris, who has been with Pro Wrestling Noah since last year. This is his 2nd year so far joining the N-1 victory. I have to say, many people might have thought in this particular match that Inamari was going to win since he is one of the stronger competitors. But Morris, with the experience he has, that's always been a factor to play out. He pulled off a ground cobra twist onto him with a very strong submission, forcing Inamari to give up. No, did he give up? Yeah, he did. So Morris gets 2 points, Inamari 0. Now back to B block, we got Yuma Anzai from All Japan. He takes on Lance Anoa'i, member of the Samoan SWAT team. This is his first year and first time being in the N1. Now, this is a very interesting matchup. Now, those who are familiarized with Anoa'i, he is part of the Anoa'i family, along with The Rock, the Bloodline, and all those guys. But you probably would have thought he probably had this one in the bag. Well, he did. He picked up the win by applying the Samoan Splash, picking his first 2 points. Now we jump back to A block. We have Yuki Yoshioka from Dragon Gate. He takes on Masa Kitamiya. Now, many Noah fans must have thought that Kiyomiya may have been the one who could win this one since he is a big, strong competitor. I was impressed by Yoshioka picking up the win because this is his first year. Normally, Yoshioka is a junior heavyweight competitor. I wouldn't be surprised if he decides to leave Dragon Gate and switch to weight class. But Yoshioka did pick up a pretty impressive win when he applied the Inferno to pick up his first 2 points. So he gets 2 points, while Kitamiya 0. Next up, we have B block. We have Daiki Inaba taking on Hijo del Dr. Wagner Jr. Pretty good match. You know, Wagner wearing the colors of his father's era. If you guys remember, I mentioned he was going to wear all white throughout the tournament as an honor to his grandfather, the late Dr. Wagner. But he did pick up a pretty good win when he applied the Michinoku driver, and that was pretty much it right there. Next up, we have the A block. This is a very interesting match. We have Adam Brooks, the Australian wrestler, taking on Keno. I have to say, this was a pretty good match. Now, Keno, he's a very tough SOB. He's the kind of guy who he knows he can win, but the obvious thing is, can he pull it off? Adam Brooks, who's been on a tear since arriving to Noah, has proven why he is who is. He applied the Aussie Buster onto to Keno to pick up a win. This was a huge upset that Keno lost in this fashion. I hope he can make up for it on the next one, but we'll see what happens then. But of course, nonetheless, Brooks does get 2 points. Next up, we have B block. We have Saxon Huxley taking on Go Shiozaki. I have to say this was a very strong match. Go Shiozaki taking on a very strong competitor like Saxon Huxley. But you probably would have thought this match was going to be very simple for Go Shiozaki since he is Noah. He picked up the good win when he applied the lariat, and just like that. Now our main event is the A block. We have Timothy Thatcher taking on Jake Lee. Strong match, but I have to say Timothy Thatcher really pushed Jake Lee to the limit. But Jake Lee applied the big boot to pick up the win, and he gets 2 points. So I thought it was pretty interesting. Now it's too early for to decide who's going to win. Now if it was me, the only logical names I can think of right now is Jake Lee could be one, possibly Adam Brooks if that is to happen. Who do I think? Maybe well, Nakajima is still up there, but we'll see how that rolls out with Noah. So until then, we just ended right here, and we move on to the next review, All Japan Pro Wrestling. Alrighty then, so All Japan Pro Wrestling, we got day 4 of the Summer Action Series. I haven't seen the first 3 days, but this one was a very interesting one for me because there was a lot of things that took place. Certain matches I was very curious, and a very interesting appearance, so we'll get to all of that as soon as possible. Our first match, we have Ryo Anoa'i taking on Naruki Doi. Pretty good match, not to mention, I mean, Naruki Doi is a very capable wrestler, but I had a feeling, as a fan watching Doi, you know, over the years, that he was going to walk out as a victor. He did. He picked up a very huge win, just like that. Now, our next match, we have wrestlers. I believe they're coming from, well, one team comes from 2AW. We have, what's his name? Chicharito Shoki, Aigle Blanc, and Ren Yabi. They take on, of course, our homegrown guys from All Japan. Dan Tamura, Takuro Niki, and Ryo Kawamura. Now, I know Dan Tamura. He's part of the group known as Evolution, along with Suwama and Hikaru Sato. But it was a pretty good match. Not too much of a big fan of it. But it was, of course, Kawamura with a nice frog splash onto Shoki, and it was pretty good, I have to say. Not the best, one of my best matches that I probably enjoyed, but it was an okay match. Now, next one, this is a All Japan versus 2AW, which stands for Advanced Action Pro Wrestling. We have representing All Japan, Okudo Omori. Representing 2AW is Kengo Mashimo. Pretty good match. I mean, I saw Mashimo. He is a very strong individual from what I saw. But however, this match ended in a referee's decision. Apparently, Omori, who is showing a bit of the stubbornness, refuses to give up. The referee had no other choice but to call it, knowing it was just too much for Omori to pick up the win. He was not happy with the results for the referee making that call, but it is what it is. Next up, we have an All Japan versus New Japan. We have Takoa Omori taking on, of course, Satoshi Kojima. Now, these are two veteran wrestlers, so I have to say I was mostly rooting for Kojima. Not because I say so, it's because him appearing in Japan, he's been in all 3 promotions throughout his career. I thought it was a pretty good one. It was, of course, a nice lariat to pick up the win for Nakajima to win. Now, before we proceed more, we have Unagi Sayaka, who comes out to do a little promo. And this is where it gets interesting. Our favorite pirate princess made her appearance. Now, basically, what we did not anticipate was, of course, this was going to happen. I did not anticipate at all that what was going on. However, apparently, Kairi said that she is now her enemy for this particular show, and she said that for her tag partner is none other than Sato Inoue. Now, I know what you're going to say. I mentioned this, that Inoue and Unagi have become good friends, but those who probably know this or not, Inoue is very more closer to Kairi than Unagi. So basically, that's it is. But the obvious question does tell, who will be her next partner? Now, part of me would like to think it's Saki, because Saki is very reliable. But a part of me would like to think that Unagi will go even further to reach out to someone. Now, who would I think, in my honest opinion? Well, I hope if Stardom can allow it to happen, I would like to see Unagi team up with Tam Nakano one last time. I would like to see that. That would be great, and it's going to be a very interesting match. But only time will tell until Unagi. Now, there's those who are saying Unagi's going to show up by herself, like last time. But we'll see how that rolls up. Now, our next match, we have a very interesting mixed tag match. We have, well, an intergender tag match. We have team number 1, Taishi Takizama, teaming up with Yame Sazamura from 2WA. And of course, you know this one, Maya Yuhiki. They take on Shihiro Hashimoto, known as Team 200 Kilogram. And their partner is Shuji Ishikawa. Now, of course, this match was going to go differently, because I have to say the power between Yu and Hashimoto have always been there. They're two of the strongest Joshi wrestlers we have seen. Even they're like a team that is far more dangerous to defeat. But it was, of course, Yu with the last ride on Sazamura, and just like that, they pick up the win. Now, our next match, we have a Tornado Bunkhouse Megaton Current Blast Death match. We have team number 1, consistent of Yoshitatsu, Saki, and Unagi Sayaka, taking on Hikaru Sato, Miss Mongol, and Asushi Onita. Now, you probably can guess there's going to be explosions, a lot of weapons being used. I have to say, this put Inagi in a very strong test. Now, we know she could take a beating, because she was suffering a big beating from Suzuki not too long ago. But she just also was recently in a exploding baseball barbed wire death match again with Jaguar taking on Aja Kong and Hiroyo Matsumoto. I have to say, this is gonna be fun. But I can tell you one thing that happened near the end. Saki said she couldn't tell what really was going on until she saw at the last second Yoshitatsu covered Unagi at the last second, tried to protect her, and Saki looked at it like it's a romantic scene, you know. I mean, it does seem like it. I mean, I know Yoshitatsu did say that he had his eye on her for a long time, that they're a lot alike. I mean, Yoshitatsu has stepped up many times to team up with her on various occasions. This is the 3rd time. But however, Yoshitatsu was the one who got the fall, just like that, by Onita, and picked up the win. However, the assessment is not over yet for Unagi. She is still looking for that one-on-one match that she wants with Onita, but Onita actually spit green mist right in her face. That's more like a baptism in her perspective, so we probably could see that in the future, but we'll see what happens until then. Now, our next match, we have tag match. We have the Voodoo Murders, consistent of Rei and Jun Saito, taking on Ryuki Honda and Yuji Nagata. I have to say, it was a very interesting match, because now the Saito brothers are 2 of the strongest individuals, 2 of the strongest members of the rosters. Big dudes, not that easy to defeat. But I have to say, it was a pretty good match how it turns out, because what I like about this one is the fact is that how do I put this? It was a pretty interesting match that I enjoyed. But it was, of course, what's his name? Honda, who picked up the win on June, and I think this is huge. But we'll see how this one rolls up. Our next match, we have All Japan versus 2AW. Kento Miyahara taking on Agato Yoshida. Pretty good match. A little bit of technical aspects by Yoshida, but it was the German suplex by Kento who picked up the win. Kento is continuing to impress everybody who he is. Next up, we have a #1 contendership for the All Japan World Junior Heavyweight title. We have Rising Hayato taking on Atsuki Aoyagi. Now, these two guys are no strangers to each other. They were tag team partners in the junior heavyweight division until they went their own separate ways, or Hayato had enough and decided that he's going to be his own man. Hayato has been one of those wrestlers that felt that he should be at the top, but he did everything right. I mean, he was able to pick up the win when he applied a springboard moonsault onto Aoyagi, and just like that, just won. Now, our next match, we have the Triple Crown Championship. We have Suwama versus Yuma Aoyagi. I have to say, good match. Pretty strong one. I mean, Suwama has been champion before, but this one was put into the test against a much younger wrestler. However, this match ended with a Death Valley driver by Aoyagi to Suwama, just like that. So, it was a pretty good one, I have to say. I like it. I think that's pretty much it with All Japan. Let's move on with New Japan. Alright, New Japan Pro Wrestling, our final review. We continue with more of the G1. However, in this particular one, we only going to focus on the B block matches only. Now, we already went through the A block. The ones who advances from the A block to the quarterfinals is none other than Hikuleo and I believe Sanada. Now, who will advance? Well, we'll see. Our first match, we have Kenta versus Yoshihashi. Now, we all know Kenta, how he is. He will do desperately to win. However, it wasn't any good for him because, of course, no matter what tricks he tried to apply or try to be clever in order to win, he pulled off the inside critter, which is a very much, how do I say, effective move to pick up a win. However, both competitors ended with, of course, Kenta ended with 6 points and Yoshihashi with 4. However, but that means that they are not going to advance, so they're completely out of the tournament from here on out. Next match, we have the Great Khan taking on Taichi. Now, for the record, I've been rooting for Taichi. I know Taichi has been developing a lot better since the formation of just 5 guys. However, it was a pretty good match, but it was, of course, the Great Khan with the shoulder lock to pick up the win, and both competitors ended with 6 points each. However, much like the first match, they're both out. Now, our next match, we have Tonga Loa versus Kazuchika Okada. Now, unlike what Tonga Loa did, pulled up an upset against Will Ospreay, he knows that he, of course, has to beat Okada, knowing that he is the Rainmaker. But Okada is one of the best wrestlers in New Japan, and that's why he is the Rainmaker no matter what. But he did apply the Rainmaker on Tonga Loa to pick up the win. He ended his G1 with 12 points, and as for Tonga Loa, 6. However, because of the amount of points he got, he advances to the quarterfinals. So, the obvious question is, who will be his opponent? That's where we go next. Now, this particular match is one of those matches that's a masterpiece for me because these two know each other completely. Now, originally it was Will Ospreay who wanted to bring him in until he was recruited by Bullet Club. It's El Phantasmo versus Will Ospreay. I have to say, what a pretty good darn match. I mean, ever since Phantasmo was kicked out of Bullet Club, his popularity is rising. He has been showing promising and all this and that. But however, it was the Storm Driver 97 that put away El Phantasmo as for Will Ospreay to win. However, Ospreay gave a pretty good encouraging promo to Phantasmo, telling him that he has to fight strong, not for himself, but for the people of Osaka. Of course, Will Ospreay is confident enough to believe that he will walk out as the winner to prove that he's bringing back the golden age of New Japan. But the problem he has to do, he is now advanced into the quarterfinals. He has to go through Okada. Now, he did beat him, but the obvious question does tell in this one: does lightning strike twice? Now, Okada has a huge number on him, but Will Ospreay only has one. So the obvious thing is, can Will Ospreay pull it off, or will once again Okada reign supreme once more? But however, a very interesting development happened at the post-match comments with El Phantasmo. El Phantasmo was feeling disappointed about how he lost this match. He felt that if he had any friends, they would be disappointed in him. But out of nowhere, the Guerrillas of Destiny, Tongaloa and Tama Tonga showed up. Tongaloa said, "You didn't fail. You didn't fail. You did pretty well. You didn't fail us." So Phantasmo had no clue what to think of this. But however, Thomas said this: "We need to talk. But are you hungry?" So of course, the obvious question is, are Tama Tonga and Tongaloa going to put their past behind them and rekindle their friendship with Phantasmo? I say it would be, because look, ever since the Guerrillas of Destiny were excommunicated by, well, except for Hikuleo, excommunicated by by Jay White, it was like that. So basically, their popularity has grown. People are worshiping the Guerrillas of Destiny. I wouldn't be surprised if that's the case. That if El Phantasmo does join the Guerrillas of Destiny, like forming their own unit in some way. So that's going to be interesting to see. So I think that's pretty much it right now. I know we will do the C block soon, but right now let's just move on with our final thing, news updates. Okay, welcome to our news updates. So let's get started. All Japan Pro Wrestling has announced for their September 3rd event that's going to take place in Nagaoka. Here's some of the matches they announced for that particular day that has been decided. We have a singles match between Rising Hayato taking on the current New Japan Pro Wrestling IWGP Junior Heavyweight Champion Hiromu Takahashi. I think this is going to be a ball blaster match for me, so we'll see how that plays out. Now, our next match, we have the Joshi wrestlers making their appearance. Representing Sendai Girls, we have Chihiro Hashimoto, Yurika Oka, and of course our current Sendai Girls World Champion Millie McKenzie. They take on Michiko, Ewai, and Lena Cross. So I have to say this is going to be good. To be fair, I'm rooting for the Sendai Girls because they have to represent. And of course, they're Meiko Satomura's girls. And then finally, we have Yoshitatsu taking on, all the way from DDT, Super Sasadango Machine. So that's going to be fun. Now, this was announced for the the All-Star Junior Festival 2023 that's going to take place on the 19th of September. Francesco Cara has been announced as the 28th entry, but however, he will be competing inside the All-Star Junior Tournament. His opponent will be none other than Speedball Mike Bailey. So I'm so looking forward to it. Those who have been aware or not, if you're fans of her, Marika Kobashi has made it safely and sound in the UK. She said she was going to be studying abroad for a while over there, but however, she was booked to be part of the all-women's promotion Eve. It was announced that on the 13th of August, she'll be facing Emerson Jane. So if any subscribers out there are from the UK area, now you know. Now, this one was a very interesting one. Gabe Kidd has been announced that he has been given a 1 month off from New Japan. The reasons behind this, he said, was because, of course, New Japan are pissed with him. Of course, they are pissed. Everybody is pissed that he kept attacking all the wrestlers during the G1 before they got to the ring. So they thought it was like that. But, of course, Gabe Kidd acts like he doesn't give a damn, that he has other plans in mind. He has his U.S. work visa and all this other stuff. So he has nothing to worry about. Now, Wrestling Revolver for their upcoming event on the 2nd of September. We have Redacted Forever. The Wrestling Revolver World title will be defended. We have Jake Chris taking on Alex Colon. So that's going to be a ball buster match. Now, as you know, New Japan and Impact Wrestling are doing a little something together. They announced for several matches that will be taking place. We have Zack Sabre Jr. and Shane Hayes taking on Moose and Eddie Edwards. Then, of course, we have the current IWGP Junior Heavyweight Champion, Hiromu Takahashi, teaming with Speedball Mike Bailey to take on the current X Division Champion Leo Rush and the former X Division Champion Trey Miguel. And then finally, the Impact World title will be defended. Alex Shelley defends his title against the Ace, Hiroshi Tanahashi. Now, interesting news has been came around. AJ Mendez, or as you know, knew her in WWE, AJ Lee, is now been announced that she is no longer working with Women of Wrestling, or WOW. Basically, this is a little statement she posted in. As my season-long contract with Women of Wrestling winds down, I want to thank the ladies for welcoming me into the locker room. Our hair and makeup talk sessions constantly inspire me to work with their hard work, talent, and genuine camaraderie. Hopefully I pronounced it right. I will try to come back and play some time in the future. I hope you all fans can keep watching the next season to support these incredible athletes and stars of tomorrow. Now, many fans have already speculating that AJ may be joining her husband in AEW. Now, there is still no official word, keep in mind, until something says that it is. But recently learned that AJ Mendez have been involving herself in the show known as Heels, along with Stephen Amell. As you know, CM Punk has been participating in that, so that's no secret. But as far as AEW we concerned, no official word yet. I mean, it would be nice to see her there, but like I said, no official word. So we'll just gotta wait and see. And then finally, for night 2 of the Homecoming by GCW and Atlantic City at the Showboat, the GCW World title will be defended. That piece of garbage, Blake Christian, defends it against the person he stole the title from in the first place, Masha Slamovich. I hope Masha gets her hands on him and kick him in the balls where he deserves it after being a total prick who acts like this is his time. I hope that happens. But we'll just wait until we get there. So this match will take place on night 2 on the 20th of August. And I think that's pretty much it what we have for now. So let's just call it a day. Well, I hope everybody enjoys this episode. Coming up, I believe we're going to be reviewing GCW's recent event, My Name Is. That's going to be a lot of fun to review. I haven't reviewed yet the latest DDT show, the Wrestle Peter Pan. I know that's going to be a long one, but I'm probably going to keep it to a minimum as possible for now. Now, we did have recently the Got to Move show for Aces, but that one will be uploaded at a later time for us and all this other stuff. But yes, we haven't seen yet the latest Stardom shows. I know hopefully soon by this week we get to see them from this past weekend. That's going to be interesting to watch. So I think that's pretty much it for now to tell about. But I will see you guys in the next DWZ time. Same DWZ channel. I must bid all of you adieu. So, goodbye. Mwah. And have a nice day. Bang.